issues.
We do apologize.
Looks like we're coming back. We're starting to get back in there. Hopefully some people stuck around.
Stay with us. It's just Murphy's Law. There we go. I see me moving. There we go. Stream went down. I think we're up because I see we moving now.
Feels like we're back.
I think we're back.
Sorry about that, guys. We're having some technical issues at the studio, but looks like we're coming through it now, so the connection should be back and strong. Make sure you share the video. We probably messed up a lot of viewers right there, but, hey, it is what it is. The show will go on.
Okay, yeah. Boothang said it is. Thank you, Miss Boothang. She said it's up.
Are you wanting to start in the middle of the offensive line, or do you want to start on the outside and work your way in?
We're going to start on the outside and kind of just go the way in. So I'll just kind of, you throw me a name out there if you want, or I'll throw out a name.
Well, then I guess we'll save the best for last. So we'll start off with Lael Collins.
See, you read my mind. It's a good thing that you read my mind. So we're going to do the offensive line grades. Now, I'm not a big offensive line guy as far as all the technical things or how the offensive linemen do. I'm not going to front and say I am. That is one of the harder positions to actually grade. I mean, you have to really be an offensive line coach to give them guys the really good grades. But according to me and what I saw, we'll first jump in with Lael Collins. 16 games played. He started all 16. Biggest thing with Lael Collins, he had 7 holding penalties, 4 false starts, and he had 5 sacks allowed. Now, I think the biggest thing everybody's been talking about with Lael Collins is, should he be at right tackle? Should he move back to guard? That's the quandary right now. And he signed a 2-year extension, as we know, G, right? And it made him like the 5th highest paid right tackle in the league. And he hasn't really performed to that level in the last 2 years he's been switched to the right tackle. Can we kind of say? He gave up 5 sacks this year. He gave up 5 sacks last year at the right tackle position. So that's 10 sacks in total. Sacks don't really kind of define you, but it just seems like to me, you know, they tried the experiment because they lost Ron Leary. You know what I mean? So they were trying to kind of catch themselves because they didn't have anybody to cover it. So they moved him out to the right tackle spot. Doug Free retired. It just doesn't seem like that's his spot to go with. It just seems like the more he has to move his feet, the more problems he has. Obviously, when you're playing the guard position, you don't have to move your feet as much as you do the tackle position. And it seemed like he was more natural at guard because of his size as well. He's a very big man. So now it's like, what are they going to do with Lael Collins? Because he's up. You can cut him if you want it this year and save like $8 million on the cap. If they ride it out this year and keep him, is he going to get an extension beyond this? We're going to have to see, because I don't know if it's going to be at right tackle. Would you say?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's safe to say he underperformed, though, so far from what he's been paid, and that's always the issue, is the contract.
Yeah, and so if I was to go ahead and give a grade from what I saw Lael Collins this year, I'm going to give him a low C. It's going to be like a C minus, only because
grade cards today?
Yeah, my grade cards. I got my grade cards. Sorry about that. It's the C right here. You see the C?
Just look at the camera like you want to hold it to the middle of the camera.
There we go. There we go. I got my C. He could be like a C minus for real. And like I said, it's because we all seen the 2-year experiment at the right tackle position, and it just looks like he's a better guard for us. It looks like he would be a better mauler for us, and we need that size in the middle. We saw when we're going to drop to Connor Williams, we saw why he struggled. He struggled because he didn't have that weight, and that was one of his biggest problems. So it would seem that, I know they pushed him out there, but if they're trying to really keep him, you may want to draft another guy, because the offensive tackle is very good this year as far as the draft goes. You can slide him back in. So that's going to be really something that we're going to really watch in the draft this year.
We're going through here. If you just joined in, we are going through here giving offensive grades by position, by player, of anyone who plays significant time in 2018. So follow along with us. Comment your grades as well. Jamal Anderson gives him a C. Stephen Arthur gives Lael Collins a C. What's up, Joe Tranchina from Italy? Appreciate you. Kendrick Fulton, C-. Floyd Pear gets C-. Dave DeLeon, C. William Reynolds agrees with you. Let's move him back to guard. And what about kicking Connor Williams out to right tackle?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that as well.
And Kendrick Fulton gives him a C-. Kendrick was in here disagreeing all last week.
So we got to.
You said C-, right?
Yeah, I said C-. So good.
Have,
me and Kendrick is good.
Starting the show off nice.
Yeah, me and Kendrick is starting good so far. We'll see.
What's up, Katina? Appreciate you. Daniel Baldonado says D+. And Kendrick, stay tuned. We will talk a little bit more about the offense as we go along. He has a question about, he says, before we get to Dak, are we grading before or after Amari?
Oh, yeah, we're going to save the best for last, so we're going to get Dak and those guys last.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and, well, we say best for last, but we're going to move along the offensive line, right?
Right.
So we'll now move to the right guard spot.
Okay.
Be Zach Martin.
Oh, man, you right there with me, big dog. All right, so Zach Martin, monster, beast. Played 14 games, missed a couple games because he had the knee injury. Total penalties, 1. 1 penalty all year. False start. Monster. He did give up 3 sacks this year, but you also got to see that, he was helping. He has to do a lot of stuff out there. And when Travis Frederick went down, I feel like he just had to have more responsibility. And he had that knee injury, and he played through that. And, if you look at Zach Martin, his whole career, I mean, he didn't even give up a sack last year. He's been a rock. He's been an all-pro every single year. He's just been a monster, a pillar for our team. He's been the one consistent one in our line, the one that we've had the whole time. He's been consistent ever since he's been drafted. Came in, all-pro, rookie, basically been that every single season. So for me, Zach Martin, if we don't have a Zach Martin now, when we lost Travis Frederick, that was huge, right? But we had Joe Looney come in. If we would have lost a Zach Martin the whole year, though, I really would have been feeling bad because I don't know who would have replaced him at that right guard spot. And you get a lot of pressure. They say when you're trying to alleviate pressure for a quarterback, don't let that pressure come inside. You get what I'm saying? Because remember when we were talking about Tony Romo, he didn't want to get that pressure on the inside because it was hard for him to really move. Mm-hmm. You really want to keep that inside pressure off, and that's what Zach Martin does. So, to me, Zach is going to get an A because he played hurt. He wasn't himself this year, but still to give up only 1 penalty all year, a false start, is pretty amazing, especially the way they throw them penalties, the way they were throwing them flags on us this year. They were going crazy with the flags this year with Dallas. So to see him only get 1, still being a pillar, fighting through injury, being in the Pro Bowl again, All-Pro, Zach Martin, A.
Yes, if you just tuned in, don't forget that we're here live every Sunday. If you're looking on Roku, Mama T says she's trying to get us live on Roku. That's all pre-recorded stuff over there. So look for this show to be posted there probably tomorrow. So Mama T, that's where you'll find us on Roku. You can watch all the shows back. Everything's archived in one nice spot, one nice channel. Jamal Anderson says Martin gets an A- from me. Besides the injuries, the most solid offensive line this season. Kendrick Fulton says, this is Booty Warrior, by the way.
Yes, I was about to tell you that's Booty Warrior. So now we all good, Kendrick. Now I know you are.
Didn't know that. Appreciate you. Long-time YouTube watcher.
Yes. So now we super good. Oh, let me give him my 8. I didn't.
Burnett Rossum gives him a B.
That was my A.
You didn't hold up your A yet.
Yeah, there's my A right there.
Floyd Parra gives an A+. And what's up, Sieber? William Reynolds gives him an A.
Boom, boom, boom.
Dave DeLeon says a strong B+. Stephen Arthur says A. Daniel Baldonado says A. Definite B+. That's my dude. Grace A. Lee A. Marcus A. Mark A. Sieber says A+. Appreciate all you guys leaving comments, giving us your grades. Give us a like and a share on the video. We were having some connectivity issues a little bit ago, but looks like we're back up strong running. So give us a share into these different Facebook groups if you could. Invite your Cowboys friends. Anybody who loves Cowboys, they should definitely check out the show. You can also become a supporter now, all you guys with top fan badges. For just $4.99 a month, you can cancel at any time, but we'll have exclusive live videos for you.
And we're getting to that combine, so you'll be able to see that live.
Before and after shows, maybe have some exclusive combine stuff. We get some supporters. We need supporters to keep this thing going, to be able to get more content, to be able to do more things throughout the week. So showing some support would be appreciated. The link is in the description if you guys would like to support us. I know a lot of you are on Patreon already. We appreciate that as well. But maybe come over to Facebook because that's probably going to be where we're doing most of our stuff.
Yeah. So, what's up, Marcus Smith?
So moving on the offensive line, I guess we'll just go ahead and keep it moving across the middle. So we're coming out of the center position. Obviously, Travis Frederick had been injured, but we got Joe Looney who played all season. So what do you think about him? And let us know in the comments. Give us a grade for Joe Looney.
Joe Looney was a monster this year. Joe Looney was a godsend. We saw how he was a backup the year before, how he backed up at the guard position. And, people were like, what about Joe Looney? We keep on keeping him on the roster. Everybody really remember Joe Looney when he did the Zeke thing with the 21 with the big belly. That's how everybody really knew Joe Looney before his really play did the talking on the field. Travis Frederick goes out with that disease that knocked him out the whole season. Joe Looney comes in. I was like frustrated. I was like, oh, man, what are we going to do? That's all we need. One of the rocks on the offensive line. He comes right in and plays 16 games, starts all 16, only had 1 sack given up the whole year from a backup, and played the center position. You got to make all the line calls. You basically have to be the guy that controls everything. And for what he did this year was amazing to me. 4 penalties, all 4 were holding calls. You can kind of see it when maybe you're helping, or you had to help the rookie. You get what I'm saying? Because he was right next to you on your left side. So concerning what Joe Looney did, coming in out of nowhere, from a backup to a starter at the center position, one of the most critical positions on the line, keeping everything together, only giving up 1 sack. I'm going to have to give Joe Looney a B+. I want to give him an A, but, you still had them holding calls. We still had a little problems, with some defensive tackles kind of late in the season. But as a whole, coming in the way he did, B+ in my eyes. So let me give him that good B, and I'll give you the plus right there in my eyes right there. B+ for Joe Looney.
He's a good locker room guy as well.
Great locker room guy.
He's got that personality, brings the energy. Let me read through some comments and see what some people had to say about Joe Looney. Nathaniel gives him a B+. I'm looking at Facebook Live comments. We're also live on YouTube right now. Eddie Woodcock, my guy Eddie Stats, says he'll be at the Combine Saturday morning.
Cool.
Hey, Eddie, if we're there, maybe we can link up.
Yes.
And talk some football. And I know you got a lot of things going on, too. Big shout-out to Eddie Woodcock there in the comments. Marcus Smith, what's going on? Lee Johnson gives a B for Looney. Stephen Arthur says a B. So everybody on page with you. Jamal Anderson, B+. Danny says needs improvement, B-. Marcus, B+. Chris, B+. So a lot of people right there in that B- to B+ range. So overall, that's a great season for Joe Looney.
Yeah, awesome season. Like I said, he was a godsend because when we heard the news that Travis Frederick was going to be out, I was like, man, who's going to do this? I thought Looney could play, but I didn't think he would do this year. And he's, like I said, like you said as well, he's a great locker room guy, funny guy, keeps everybody loose in the locker room, and that's what you kind of need. You got those guys that are leaders in the team that keep it serious, but then you got those guys like DeMarcus Lawrence that keeps you laughing, and you also got guys on the offensive end like Joe Looney. Gives great interviews. Law actually interviewed him. Voch interviewed him when they were at the Cowboys experience. He gave them a great interview. Super funny guy, and I hope that we can continue to keep him on the roster, and we'll see what happens next year as far as if he's going to be starting or not.
I got to give a quick shout-out to Floyd Hope Jr. has become a supporter. Congratulations, Floyd Hope Jr., first official Silver and Blue Nation supporter. You deserve a round of applause for that one.
I like that.
Thank you, Floyd Hope Jr. You will be seeing exclusive content from Silver and Blue Nation. Make sure you guys follow suit, follow along, support the page. We'd appreciate it. Down at the bottom of your screen there in the comments for Facebook, there's a little badge. You can push that and subscribe to us.
Yes, we love it. We love it. We love
$4.99
it.
a month for exclusive stuff.
We
and to help
appreciate
keep
you.
us going.
Yes, appreciate you.
So thanks again for that.
Yes, sir.
Turn that top fan badge into a supporter badge. You can see it there for Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Ron Smith, who just tuned in? Vondell Jackson.
What up,
Appreciate you
Vondell?
all.
Ron Smith, what's up, babe?
So let's go ahead then and keep moving on.
All right.
I think everybody was about in agreement on him around a B.
Mm-hmm.
About an average of a B grade for Joe Looney. So now we'll move on to the left guard spot, which was filled in by the rookie, Connor Williams.
Yes.
So let us know in the comments what you guys think right now. What's your grade for Connor Williams? Obviously, he sat out a little bit with some injuries, but he did play, and we had a good sample size. So let us know in the comments what you think, and you can tell us what you think.
All right, so with Connor Williams, a lot of people were down on Connor Williams. I really don't think it was his fault. You get what I'm saying? I really think he should have maybe played the tackle position, should have been playing guard. We all saw they gave him the measurements when he was in college saying he was 6'5", 310. We know he wasn't no 310G. We went to the game. Ain't no way in hell he was 310 unless he was a skinny 310. He was more like a 295. And when you're playing a guard position, we had Ron Leary that was playing guard. He was 340.
He was
big.
big.
You get what I'm saying? When you're playing the guard position, you have to be a big guy. You're playing those big stout tackles. We're playing Snack Harrison, those type of guys, those guys that will push that weight on you. Those guys, when we played Seattle, they had a big front. When we played Carolina, they had a big front, and he was getting mauled. But, you know, like I said, I still think Connor Williams is a good player. But with that being said, I'm going to give some quick breakdowns on Connor Williams. He had 5 penalties this year, 4 holding calls, a false start. He gave up 4.5 sacks this year. So as I said, maybe Connor Williams, we're going to see if he's going to stay at that guard position or if they're going to move him out to tackle and move layout. That's going to be a hot topic this summer. What they're really going to do. Are they going to keep those guys where they are? I think, when he was at Texas, I'm a Texas guy. When I've seen him at Texas, he was a better right tackle to me because you don't have to be super big to play the tackle position. We seen when Tyron Smith came in, he wasn't a heavy guy. He looked like a tight end when he came in. You get what I mean? But he had those quick feet, and that was the thing that Connor Williams has. He's a real athletic kid, and he can really move his feet more than I think La'el Collins, and I think he's a real good technical player. Arms are a little short, and I think that was one of his downfalls because when you're playing the tackle position, you got to have kind of long arms. So I think that's one of the reasons why they slid him to guard. But with all that being said, and what Connor Williams did, even with the injury, I'm going to go ahead and give Connor Williams, I ain't going to, kill you, Connor. But you're going to have to get a C. I'm going to give you a C-. I was going to give you a D, bro. I was going to give you a D, but it wasn't your fault you played guard, so you got a C-. Here's the minus right here. You got a C- in my book. It could have been better, but I don't think Dallas did you any favors by sliding you right in at left guard, and you weren't big enough for that position.
If you left your comments in the Facebook or YouTube section on giving a grade for Connor Williams, I'm going to come through and read them here in a sec. I'm going to come over here to YouTube first. We haven't given them love today, so appreciate you, WV, Country Boy, Ninja Nuts, my Cowboy family.
Yeah.
Nate Brown, what's going on? Real raw and uncut.
Real raw like that.
Everybody who's leaving comments on YouTube, Matitius Cowboy 86, appreciate you. Nate Brown gives him a C-. Steve Mack 23 gives him C-. Country Boy gives him a C-. So a lot of people right there with you agreeing around that C area to C-. Matitius Cowboy gives him a D. Mr. Big Baller 38 gives him a C. So most of the people, like I said, in agreement with you from what I'm seeing on YouTube right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if you guys are on YouTube and not subscribed on Facebook, make sure you come over here and do that, and vice versa for Facebook and YouTube. Marcus Smith, I'm back to Facebook, gives him a C. Robert gives him a C. Denzel, C. William Reynolds, D+ or C-. Kendrick, Booty Warrior gives him a C. Lee, C. Grace, C. Dave DeLeon, C. Stephen Arthur, C. Floyd, C. So everybody thinks it's a C.
Yeah.
All in agreement with you. So we really are the voice of the fans here, folks.
Yes, sir.
As you can see.
Yes, sir.
Right on page with what you guys think.
Yes, sir. What's up, Terrence Shorts? That's another one of our top
Yes.
fans. That's my dog. I like Terrence.
Yes, we're really pushing this supporter badge. Get you a supporter badge.
Support.
Push the button right down below. I don't even think it charges you till the first of the month.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mama T, you can go ahead and do that for us. We know you appreciate and support the show. Ron Smith, all our regulars, support the show for us. We appreciate you guys. So let's just keep moving along now. We're already across the offensive line. We're kind of on a little bit of a time leash today as we have another show coming up. If you guys like wrestling,
jump on.
Tune in to Fan Chat Nation for that one. We'll move to the left side of the line. It's Tyron Smith.
Tyron Smith. Big Tyron Smith. We love you, Tyron Smith. I love Tyron Smith. I love him because he's like the gentle giant. He don't say much, but he's a monster. He's been a monster for a team for a long time, but it seems like he may be in decline due to injury. We've seen it for the last 3 to 4 years. It's been that back. And when you have a back injury, it just seems like it doesn't get better. He hasn't had surgery because it's been more related to spasms. But it just seems like, when he missed 2017, he missed a boatload of games that hurt us. He missed games this year. When he starts having the spasms, that really hurts him. So that's going to be a grade that's going to knock you down just on injury front. Now, if you're looking at what Tyron Smith did this year as far as penalties, he had 10 penalties this year. He had the most penalties, I believe, out of anybody on the team this year. He had 7 holding penalties, 3 false starts. But he didn't give up a sack this year. He didn't give up a sack this whole year, which
that's big.
That's big, because I actually thought he did, but he didn't give up a sack this whole year. It's kind of like, what do we do with Tyron Smith now? He's got the big contract, okay, and he's 27 now, I believe, and he's been in the league 8 years because he came in super young.
He was 19, I think.
Yeah, he was 19, 20 years old. I just wonder about Tyron Smith. What is he going to do with his body? Is his body going to hold up? I think that's the only thing I worry with Tyron Smith. I don't worry about his ability. He's still an all-world tackle. It's just his injury, and that's what I worry about. So I think that they need to start covering themselves in the draft and start drafting some offensive linemen in this draft, especially when this is a good draft for offensive linemen. Not to say you're going to take Tyron Smith's spot because he's an all-world tackle, but injury can take you out the game, and we've seen that time and time again. Sean Lee and other players, that you can be as good as you want, but if you can't play, it doesn't matter. You get what I'm saying? So for everything that happened with Tyron Smith this year, I'm going to go ahead and give Tyron Smith a C this year.
Oh.
I'm giving Tyron Smith a C this year. He made the Pro Bowl.
That's going to catch people off guard in the
So
comments.
they can catch it off guard. He had 10 penalties this year, 7 holding. I know you didn't give up sack, but 7 holding penalties.
And some big ones.
You were the most big ones, and we seen Tyron Smith, and I'm not disrespecting Tyron Smith. I'm just telling you what I feel. You feel me, G? We saw him have a lot of problems with edge rushers, those real fast edge rushers that were getting off like the Frank Clarks and those type of guys that had a lot of speed. Javion Clowney gave him some problems too in that Texans game. Those speed rushers that were getting that quick get off, because he was having the back injuries, he's limited in how quick he can get off. So that hurt him, and I believe those holding penalties, and they were critical holding calls. So yes, he's got to get the C in my book. I'm sorry, I love you, Tyron Smith, to death, but I can't give you a B when I seen that.
Looking through some Facebook comments, Marcus Smith gives us an A. Floyd Hope says a B-. Grace gives an A+. Denzel, B-. William Reynolds, a B. Stephen Arthur, B. Annette, A-. Dave, A. Therrell, B+. Kendrick, B-. Robert, B. So a lot of people on a B. I think everybody's kind of afraid to drop it to a C like you did. But
yeah, they're afraid because of Tyron Smith. Maybe they're going on the reputation too, because I mean, let's be honest. He's one of the top guys, but sometimes you get there on a reputation, right? Even with the Pro Bowl, some of those guys don't have all Pro years or Pro Bowl years, but they get there because you get there because you've been good for the last 5 years. So we're just going to throw you in there. I'm not taking nothing away, Tyron Smith. His ability, as I said, injury, and he does give up a lot of holding calls, and it has been happening quite a bit in his last few years.
Ron Smith, appreciates your comment about the supporter badge. Seberg gives a B-, says for Tyron Smith, and I seriously think we need to look for a new blindside blocker. Katina says a lot of holding calls. Mama T gives a D. Wow.
Ooh-wee. Mama T ain't playing.
So she went a little hard on him.
Yeah, she went hard. Everybody, like I said.
Billy 6, C+.
I say everybody was giving around that B to C range with Tyron Smith. Some A's, but it was more the B to C range with Tyron Smith this year. And I got a bonus guy that we must talk about right quick. You don't have to show him, but this is a bonus guy.
Let me see what some people said over here on YouTube real quick before we get to that. Doug Anthony gave a B+. Says he's got injury plague. Matitious Cowboy, a B grade. Stevie Max says B-. Country Boy, B-. So a lot of people right there in that B- to C+ range. Mm-hmm. You're not getting a lot of C's, but a lot of people are scared to kind of hit that C, but saying B-. You give him a C, that's the overall grade for him. He will end with a C in the mind of Big Game James.
Yeah.
So
I like how you said that too.
Let's move on, and let's just stay along that line.
Yeah, I'm going to give one bonus line because we're going to jump in the tight end, so I'm going to give the bonus guy because he played a lot too, and that's Xavier Su'a-Filo. He came over from the Texans. And when Connor Williams went down, he slid right in and took a spot. And a lot of people were like, oh, he's playing better than Connor Williams. We need to have him over Connor Williams. Connor Williams sucks and he needs to be the backup. Well, a lot of people will like Su'a-Filo because he's a big guy. He's like 320 pounds, big space-eating type of guy, and that's what you need at the guard position. But if you look at it, he only had one holding penalty, but he gave up 6 sacks. That's not good, man. So as much as we were liking Su'a-Filo, you gave up 6 sacks up that middle, baby, and that's not good. So I just want to throw him as the bonus. So as much as everybody was saying that, Su'a-Filo was this, Su'a-Filo was that, he's stopping this, he's stopping that, he gave up 6 sacks up the middle, man. So, and he was getting bullied toward the end. He had remember we were talking about how Connor Williams, when he was coming back, Su'a-Filo had a couple of games where he was getting manhandled up in that middle. So I'm going to go ahead and give Su'a-Filo because he came in out of nowhere and helped out of nowhere, but you're still getting like a C- in my book. C- almost gave you a D, but I'm going to give you a C- because you did come in and help the line when they needed it most when Connor Williams went down. But giving up 6 sacks, that's just not good up the middle.
So that between everybody that you graded so far, I think that gives us an average of about B- on the offensive line to a C+, something like that, right in that range overall.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to move on to the tight end now, and we want to start with Schultz or Jarwin?
Let's go with Jarwin.
All right, we'll start off Blake Jarwin.
No, let's go with Schultz because he ain't really. Yeah, give Schultz. I'm sorry. I apologize, G. That's my fault.
Messing up my graphics.
I did. I was so sorry.
We'll start with the rookie, and we'll come back to either way. There was a big shoes to fill this season. Jason Witten gone. Somebody was supposed to step up.
Right.
We kind of seen Jarwin at the end. but this is a young guy that was drafted.
Right.
Dalton Schultz. Let us know what you guys think in the comments for the rookie tight end. What did he do? What kind of grade would you give him for what he played this season?
All right, so I'm gonna give Dalton Schultz a big fat incomplete. I got an eye for him, and the main reason because Dalton Schultz, he really didn't do anything this year. You know what I mean? He was kind of like a afterthought until we started having the injuries with Jeff Swain and Rico Gathers wasn't really getting the ball. That's when you saw him getting some catches, but for a total year of 12 catches for 116 yards. The most receptions he had in one game where you saw, oh, Dalton Schultz was getting the ball was when we got blown out by the Colts, and it was kind of like garbage time. It wasn't really any significant time that he made any significant plays. Also, Dalton Schultz had to get better in that blocking because either he was missing assignments or there were wrong line calls, but there were some games where he was just missing blocks, period. Okay, and he was ballyhooed as coming out of Stanford as a big-time blocker, and he had some good size, 6'5" and about 245, 250 pounds. And he was a good blocker at Stanford, and Stanford has really good, smart players. I think he can begin next year, can be a better player. The jury's still out on him. He was a fourth-round pick. He looked good, at Stanford, but I need to see more from Dalton Schultz. I really don't know. Like I say, he's a smart kid. I met him up at training camp. Really good guy. But I just need to see more from Dalton Schultz before you can get a real good evaluation of him because you didn't really see a lot of him this year.
Looking at the Facebook comments just real quick because we got to kind of move along. Floyd Hope gives a D. Dave a D. Joe gives him a C. Billy Sick a C-. Robert a D. Marcus says a Z. Kendrick Fulton said C. Steve Arthur C. Schultz, and Joe Tranchina gives Schultz an F. Jim Hoover a D-. So a lot of people pretty pessimistic about the way his rookie season went. So hopefully the next guy here has a better grade, and one of these guys are probably going to be stepping up this season. Now we got Blake Jarwin. Let us know what you guys think in the comments on Blake Jarwin.
Okay, Blake Jarwin. Let's jump in Blake Jarwin. Now, remember, I was the guy that liked Blake Jarwin last year. Remember, I was touting Blake Jarwin in 2017. I was talking to him at the beginning of the training camp when nobody was. I said he's going to be a guy to watch. He was undrafted out of Oklahoma State. He had good size, about 6'5", but he looks like he's 6'7" because he's so dang long.
Gronk size.
Gronk size. He came in this year. I was really pumping Blake Jarwin. I said he's going to be our guy. He's going to be our guy. You came and said, man, Blake Jarwin weak. I remember you kept on saying.
We saw some stuff early on from him.
Yeah, you was like, man, he weak because he wasn't physical. Remember how you were saying he wasn't a physical guy, which he's not. He's not a physical blocker. He's not a guy that can really help you in the run game as far as blocking or anything of that nature. He's like a what's your boy Escobar? He reminds me of Escobar as far as he's just a pass catching tight end. That's really what he is. He's not really anything else. But let's look at Blake Jarwin. I mean, he had 27 catches for 307 yards and 3 TDs. Good upside. Needs to get more physical. But as we saw, he had 2 big games. One big game was against Philadelphia at 7 catches for 57 yards. And then people were like, okay, maybe we finally found a tight end. Maybe the guys are stepping up. And then we saw him break out, of course, in that Giants game. Even though it was a meaningless game, it doesn't matter. It looked good. That's what Dak needed, a safety valve, a guy that he can look over the middle when everything is not going good. He can just drop it right off. He had 7 catches for 119 yards, 3 TDs, and he looked like a guy that we could build on for next year. That gave us hope. He had a couple catches in the playoff game against the Rams, had the injury, but he still played through it, so I like how he played through his injury. They said he wasn't even going to play in that game because his ankle was so bad. So the fact that he came out there and played through the injury is also where I'm going to give him big ups for the season as well. I'm going to give Blake Jarwin a C in my book because we really didn't see anything in the beginning of the year, and he still does have to work on his blocking and get him a little more physical at the line of scrimmage. But as far as a pass-catching tight end, I think that moving forward, he's going to be a weapon for the Dallas Cowboys.
If you just joined in, you're watching live on Facebook and YouTube. And then on Facebook, we're on a couple different Facebook pages, but the Silver and Blue Nation page is where you need to be to have your comments read as we're going through grading all the offensive players or anyone who had significant playing time in 2018. And we did defense last week, so we're doing offense this week, so appreciate the comments with us. Stephen Arthur gives Blake Jarwin a B. Grace a B. Marcus Smith a C+. Mama T says a C. Lee says a B. Billy Sick B-. Booty Warrior B-. What's going on, Gabino? Appreciate you tuning in.
What's up, Gambino?
Floyd Hope C+. So a lot of people right there in that C+ to B- range is what it's looking like. What's going on, Simone Phoenix? Appreciate you for tuning in, leaving comments.
Mm-hmm.
David Sieber, real quick, he's asking about Rico. Is he going to be back?
I don't know.
Real quick on that.
I think he is, but he's on the short leash. I mean, he's hanging by the thread. I would not be surprised. I thought Rico Gathers was going to be surprise cut last year. I definitely think if he doesn't show any kind of thing in the training camp this year, especially if they draft a tight end, he will be cut and be gone. So I didn't even bother grading Rico. I don't even think he had but one catch or 2 catches this year. So he was a total incomplete. I just feel like that Rico Gathers experiment is over unless he takes major strides, and I just don't see it. That's just my opinion on Rico.
If you're on Facebook, turn that top fan badge into a supporter badge. You can see it down there at the bottom of the screen. Make sure you subscribe to us. We're going to be bringing exclusive content that only you guys can see when you subscribe throughout the week. And over there on YouTube, we're not neglecting you. We'll be over there for your comments as well. Just trying to bounce back and forth. It's just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
So
we can make it.
That takes care of everybody who is on the line. So now we'll move to the outsides and then work our way back in before we wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to move a little bit faster here as we go.
Okay.
Real quick, I wanted to hit on Allen Hurns because he's a guy that was brought in and supposed to be like our number 1 last season.
Right.
And that changed completely.
Right.
And really disappeared from the most part. So what kind of grade would you give him? And in the comments, what kind of grade would you guys give Allen Hurns?
I give Allen Hurns a straight D, not a D. He was a guy that we were supposed to be looking to as being a threat this year, and we had to go out and get an Amari Cooper because he didn't step up. Like I said, he was supposed to be maybe our number 1, number 2 type receiver. He did not look like that this year. Had a lot of issues. Yes, it was probably some of Dak too missing him, but it just looked like those two didn't get on the same page, and then he had the injury that knocked him out the whole year. So, and we don't even know if he's going to be back because they have to pick up like a $5 million option on his contract, and with him coming back that injury, that's going to be seeing if he's even going to be back with the roster. So that's going to be something to look at going forward. But he's going to get a D in my book.
Yeah, that was a gruesome injury. A lot of people in the comments, I'm seeing a lot of people giving C's and C minuses. I think it was a little bit worse than that myself. Like you said, he was expected to be that number 1, when he came in, and we had to go trade for somebody else because he didn't produce. So I wasn't that happy with his performance. So let's move into the slot then with Cole Beasley.
All right, Cole Beasley, the Bees. I love you, Bees. All right, Bees, let's jump on him. 65 catches for 672 yards and 3 touchdowns. His career year, he had 75 catches for 833 and 5 touchdowns. He had a 9-catch game against the Jags where he kept us in it. 9 catches, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had a few 7-catch games. He was targeted 87 times and only had 1 drop. A really good year by Bees, and he said he wasn't getting the ball like he wanted. He had a lot of complaints. He was very vocal this year about his role in the offense and how he feels like he should be getting the ball more. So that could be the writing on the wall with Bees not coming back. But for the grade, I'm gonna give Bees a B for your first name, big dog. I'm gonna give Beasley a B.
You mean his last name?
Yeah, Bees. Yeah, my bad. Bees in the cut. Your last name, capital B. I'm gonna give you that because, like I said, you're only 10 catches off. You said you had a bad year, but you was only 10 catches off from your career year. So, and we saw that when Beasley gets the ball, and when he got a plentiful in the Jags or in the Eagles, when he started getting the ball in space, the offense started opening up. When he started getting the ball, the offense started rolling and moving. So he's definitely a threat in that slot. I don't know if we keep him because he's going to want more money in that slot, and he probably can get more money elsewhere, and he probably could be a bigger target, let's say, for the Patriots if they wanted to go that route. So I don't know if Bees comes back, but I'm giving him a B for this year.
Yeah, it felt like his production always kind of came in spurts. Like he would get a whole bunch of targets, and then we'd be quiet for a long time. Right. Get a whole bunch of targets, then quiet. So it's kind of inconsistent.
Right.
I think, and that's why it was kind of quietly 65 catches. But, I don't know. When you're stirring up the front office like that and you're saying things in public, I think that might be time to move on. I think at that point.
It's kind of hard when you're talking about management like that for them to bring you back and think that everything's going to be okay, especially when you're talking about guys that run everything. You're talking about the Joneses, Steven and Jerry. They run everything. So when you're talking about, they target who they want to target, they give the ball who they want to give to. That's just, to me, not a good sign of you being able to come back next year and play on the team.
Terrence Short said 1 knee equals 2 feet. Yes, that was an amazing play by Cole Beasley.
He had a great game that game.
What's up, Mr. Hargrove?
What's up, Mr. Hargrove?
Become a top fan, a supporter badge. Get your supporter badge, Mr. Hargrove. You can sign up right there at the bottom. It's monthly. We appreciate you and your support all the time, as you are also one of our proud patrons. So let's go ahead and keep moving on to receiver court.
Okay.
We'll go to the rookie last year, Michael Gallup.
Love some Michael Gallup, man. I was pushing Michael Gallup ever since the combine. Well, actually before the combine, and then when we went to the combine, me and you were like, yeah, we really like this kid. Great personality. First of all, shout-outs because he had the tragic death of his brother, and he still was able to play through it. Just a great kid. Number one, great kid. But just looking at what he did this year, 33 catches, 507 yards, 2 touchdowns. In the postseason, had the big game against the Rams, 6 catches for 131 yards and a touchdown. Really started stepping his game up in the second half of the season, 68 targets, only 1 drop, which is really good for a rookie. But I think he really settled into that number 2 role. We were thinking maybe he could possibly be a number 1, but we saw, at least in my eyes, he's more of a number 2 receiver. I'm going to go ahead and give Michael Gallup a C for the year because only 31 catches, not really his fault. I just feel like he was targeted a lot more long balls. Him and Dak weren't really getting that connection toward the end, and I think that connection and those numbers are definitely going to go up next year. I think because that camaraderie that they had toward it, and you saw it at the end of the year how they were getting better and better with each other, especially with the long ball. And Gallup doesn't have blazing speed, but he can get open deep. So he was kind of our long ball guy. So I really love Gallup and what he's going to bring to the table. I think he's going to double those numbers from this year. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and give him a C, and I think that's a fair grade to what he did this year.
Yeah, a lot of people agreeing with you in the comments, from like a C+ to B, B+. Simon Phoenix said Gallup could have had so many more, so much more, so many missed deep balls. Yes, there were a lot of passes that were overthrown, or maybe he wasn't running the correct route where he was open, but they just weren't on the same page.
Yeah, that's a rookie though.
But yes, I agree, and I think that receivers usually get better as they develop in year 2 and 3. So. If you think back to Dez Bryant, he didn't have the greatest, most great productive rookie season. I know he had some injuries, but I remember him having little issues being on the same page at first, and then you seeing what he did in years 2, 3, 4. So hopefully we see something like that from Gallup. Now it's on to the big dog of the receiving core, Amari Cooper, who was traded for.
That's Amari.
The trade itself's got to be an A, but let's go ahead and grade his performance as a Cowboy. He had some monster games for us, won games for us.
Had monster games for us. I mean, he won the Philly game. I mean, he beat the Redskins to me himself as well. But that Philly game, we were there at that Philly game, which was freaking awesome, the way what he did. Coming over to Cowboys, he had 22 catches with the Raiders. Comes over to us almost like mid-season, 53 catches for 725 yards, 6 touchdowns. He was targeted 76 times. He did have 3 drops, so that hurt a little bit. But he's getting an A in my book, and the reason why he's getting an A because the trade was an A because we were 3-5 and we looked like it was over. And I myself would be the first to say that when we got rid of Dez, I was like, maybe we don't need a number 1 receiver. We can make it. And obviously I was wrong in that we needed a top receiver to kind of open up the offense for everybody else. And I think that's what Amari did. If you look at the numbers to Michael Gallup, to Cole Beasley, and to the other players, their numbers opened up, especially Michael Gallup. You saw more of his catches when Amari Cooper came. The reason why, because now they had to focus on Cooper because Cooper's going to kill you. He's a surgeon as far as what he can do technically with his route running. You can throw him in the slot, and shout out to Tyson West Coast. We was talking last month how you think Amari should go in that slot, and I definitely think he should as well. Maybe not full-time, but definitely get in that slot more because he'll just kill you with that. But to see what he brung, opened up the offense for everybody, made Dak Prescott 100% better, made his year better because he was looking like straight poo without Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper helped raise his level, and it seems like they have a great bond with each other already. So, Amari Cooper, you getting an A in my book. Big Amari for the A. Amari, that's Amari. So you getting an A, keep it up, Amari. And he got the big chain that says Amari Cooper with the Cowboys. So I think he's made his home with the Cowboys. Let's go ahead and see if they can re-sign him up, and let's move forward. But we finally got a weapon, and he's a young boy.
Yeah, you got to love his attitude too, like the things he was saying at the Pro Bowl about how he would instead of wanting to play with Tom Brady, he'd rather play with Dak Prescott.
I want to beat him.
And he would rather beat the best and play, but he likes to play with Dak. He's said a lot of good things about him, so hopefully their chemistry continues to build. It's exciting to think about what it can be based on what it was in just those 10 games that he played, where the Cowboys were 8-2.
Right.
So that's pretty big.
And you just saw he just raised the level of our offense.
Everybody around him got better.
Yeah, everybody got better. Everybody, you could see the more pep in our step now. You know, it just seemed like Dallas was just like, You know, but when Amari came over, it was like he gave us life. He gave the team life. It was like, now you have to worry about somebody. And when you have to worry about somebody on the outside besides when we had Zeke, made that offense so much better.
And one of the biggest things about him was his run after the catch ability.
Yes.
Because, Dak doesn't throw many deep balls. I mean, he did hit him on a couple, but most of that stuff came yards after the catch.
Yes.
And that really made Dak look a lot better. And like you said, it just made everyone around him look a lot better. So that was a huge season, 10-game stretch for Amari Cooper. Cowboys were 8-2. You got to give that an A+, I think.
I'm gonna give him.
Didn't make too many mistakes at all.
Didn't make too many mistakes.
Maybe
like
one
I said,
drop or
we just got to worry about those drops because he does have a problem sometimes having the dropsies. You saw it in the Pro Bowl game too. Dak threw a laser to him and that was a touchdown. He dropped it.
That's true. So we'll go ahead and jump to the running back position. We'll go start off with the backup, and that was Rod Smith. And there's a lot of questions swirling this position this year. Do we need a new backup? Do we need a change of pace type running back? Was Rod Smith good enough? Let us know what you think.
I'm going to give Rod Smith, I really didn't go on his stats because he really didn't get a lot of work. You know what I mean? It's just like he was kind of like the spelled Zeke. With Rod Smith, I like Rod Smith. I love him as a special teams guy. I love him as a attitude guy. He's a great team player. I really didn't believe the Cowboys when they said he was a 16-game starter. I don't believe that at all. But you know what? I do like Rod Smith. But I'm going to go ahead and give you a C, Rod Smith, for the season because you came in and you backed up and you did your job. That's what I like about Rod Smith. He does his job. But I do think the Dallas Cowboys need to address that backup position. He is a free agent this year. I just think that Rod Smith, he just doesn't give us that instant boom. Get through the line. We need somebody that's a change of pace back. Somebody that when we give him the ball, that people are scared of him. You know what I mean? We need a fast guy. You know, the Lance Dunbar that we've been trying to get forever. We need one of these guys possibly we can get in the draft or in a backup position because if Rod Smith doesn't get great blocking up front, he doesn't get any yards. You see what I'm saying? And they kept on trying to run him side to side. You can't run Rod Smith side to side. You got to run him up the middle. He's a north-south runner. But if he doesn't get that good blocking, it doesn't seem like he gets those yards. And Rod Smith is not the type of guy that you can only bring in to me on, a second and third down unless you're throwing the ball out the backfield to him because he needs a lot of carries to get started. He's one of those type backs. And we need a guy that's a change of pace. And I think that's what they need to look at going forward as far as the running back position.
Does he start for any other team in the league?
I don't think so. Not in my book.
All right, then let's move on to the big dog at the position. It's Zeke.
Zeke. We all know about Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, the dude is a monster. He's been a monster from day one since he's got with us. 2 rushing titles out of 3 years, and he probably would have got the 3rd rushing title if he didn't get suspended for the 6 games. I mean, Kareem Hunt led the league that year with 1,346 yards, and Zeke had 980-something. And just think, 6 more games, I think he was beating Kareem Hunt. So you could almost say that he could have 3 titles in 3 years. Broke all the Cowboys records already as far as his yards per carry. He's second all time to only Jim Brown at averaging yards per game his whole career. He's averaging 101 yards his whole career. The dude's a monster, right? So, like I said, this year 304 attempts, 1,434 yards, needed more touchdowns, but I think that's more Scott Linehan's fault not giving the ball because he had 15 touchdowns his rookie year, only had 6 this year. He should have at least had 10 this year. You got to have a guy like that getting 10 touchdowns. But he had a career high in receptions. They did say they were going to throw the ball out in the backfield to him. Everybody was saying, oh, he ain't no Le'Veon Bell, he ain't this and this, but he had a career high 77 catches for 567 yards, and he had a big catch in that Detroit game. Actually won that game with that big catch with the over-the-shoulder catch. So he showed his value out the backfield, and he showed how much of a dimension he adds. And we know the big debate is, I've seen people, would you pay Zeke before would you pay Dak? That's been the debate. Who's really running that? Who's the engine to the team? A lot more people say it's Zeke and it ain't Dak, and the only reason why the team goes is because of Zeke. I know that Zeke is the monster, but I'm just so worried about what's going to happen upcoming with this contract. But I'm going to just leave that alone right now. We're just going with the grades because I don't want people yelling at me because they're going to yell. But I'm going to go ahead and give Zeke that big A, and I'm going to give him an A+ because you know what? He had injuries this year, and he didn't miss a game. You know what I mean?
He's a beast.
He had nagging injuries. He had a shoulder injury. He had an ankle injury. And we've seen him in games where he was limping coming off the field, but he comes back in and he fights. And I don't think he's missed a game by injury his whole career. I don't think he has. So
only those 6 games for suspension. That's it.
Only those 6 games.
And the one he sat out, I think.
And the one he sat out. But
this year,
you got to look at the running back takes tons of hits, right? and you have to be durable. And for him to come in the way he has and taking the pounding that he has, 322 carries his rookie year, and never missed a game, and still putting up them numbers, he's an absolute monster, giant, gargantua, Godzilla, King Kong man.
I think he's one of the first to hit 3,000, or like one of the fastest to hit the 3,000-yard rushing mark.
Yes, sir.
How many career yards does he have rushing?
I think he has 4,000, over 4,000, like 4,044 career yards.
That's amazing considering that he's missed 8 games. We think about 6 in his second year from the suspension, the last game of his rookie year, and the last game of this past season.
That's what I was saying. And then check this out. Like I said with Todd Gurley, Todd Gurley's been in the league 4 years, and he's got 4,600 yards. Zeke has pretty much eclipsed him in everything as far as yards per game, yards per average, and Todd Gurley makes a lot more money than him. So that's going to be the sticky thing going forward with that contract, because I'm going to tell you right now, guys going to want what they're worth. You know what I mean? Guys want what they're worth. Le'Veon Bell sat out a whole year, and he would have got a guaranteed $14 million because he said he wanted to get paid what he's worth, right? He's probably going to get a bigger contract with that because he's a free agent now. So you got to look at the signings. So if you see a Todd Gurley who's going to kick his $14 million is going to kick in like around 2020, and then you see a Le'Veon Bell, if he looks at market value, he said, and what if Le'Veon Bell gets a 15 per year? Ezekiel Elliott is going to want that type of money or more, because he has the numbers.
He's the best.
He thinks he's the best, and his numbers can match any running back in the league or better. So if you have the best numbers in the league and you feel like you're the best in the league, you're going to want to get paid like the best in the league, period.
Yep. And I know you guys are leaving comments. I want to read them all, but we're running short on time, so we're just going to move along. But stay tuned for next week. We're going to have a bit more of an open discussion with the comments and everything. But right now, let's stay on track with the off-season grades of individual players. We'll go to the guy that handles the ball more than anybody, touches the ball on every snap, takes more snaps than anybody in his position. That's Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott, boy, the love. Who do you love to hate? People love to hate some Dak Prescott. I thought Tony Romo used to get it bad as far as the hate, but Dak Prescott has took that to a whole different level as far as the hate. I don't understand why everybody hates him. I can understand why you get frustrated with Dak Prescott, because Lord knows I've been frustrated with him this year. Last year I was frustrated too. I don't hate the man. But if you look at what Dak Prescott did this year, a QB rating of 96.9, 526 attempts, 356 completions, completed 68% of his passes, 22 touchdowns, only 8 picks, 75 rushes, 305 yards. I believe that was a career high this year, and 6 rushing touchdowns. In the playoffs, he had 492 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception with a 91 rating in the playoffs. He had 10 passes dropped this year. He threw 78 poorly thrown balls, 48 balls were pass defense, and 6 of his passes were hit at the line of scrimmage. So, without further ado, with Dak Prescott, I'm going to give Dak Prescott a B this year. And I'm going to give him a B because guess what? He looked like a low C. He looked like a C- earlier. If y'all remember me, I was talking about my rant. I was going ham on Dak Prescott. I was just like, what is going on? I was like, this is year 3. You got to step up. Everybody's trying to kill you right now. You got to be better than this. And it just looked like what was going on with him. He was only averaging like 172 yards a game as far as passing. He just didn't look great. He just looked like, what is Dak Prescott the guy? But you know what? Every good quarterback does need weapons. Patrick Mahomes is a beast, but he still got weapons. You feel me? These guys that are monsters, Drew Brees, he's a monster, but he's still got weapons, right? He's got Kamara. He's got Michael Thomas. He's got weapons, and he's got dog weapons, and that makes you better as a quarterback. And you seen when we got Amari Cooper, it made Dak Prescott better, and he stepped his game up. I think he ended up averaging like 240 yards a game, going from 172 to 240 like in an 8, 9, 10 game span with the receiver stepping up. I will give him a B because of what he had to go through. He's been a winner. All 3 years, he's had a winning record every single year. Way more touchdowns than interceptions. He has, since he's came in the league, the most game-winning drives since he's came in the league. I think he had 4 this year. And we saw this year, he won some games for us, did he not, G? I mean, when there was some games where it was just like the dude fought, scrambled, looked like he was sacked, doing Tony Romo type things. I mean, and you be frustrated all game. The Philly game, we were frustrated all game, and then he comes through and throws big pass plays. So I love Dak. I want him to be our quarterback going forward. Everybody's talking about the numbers, what he's going to get paid. I'm not even going to talk about that right now. I'm going to say this. Dallas waited forever to get a quarterback. We were crying about quarterbacks. We were crying about quarterbacks. Look at all the bad quarterbacks we had. So for us to lose Tony Romo and to come in a position with Dak, it could be a lot worse, folks. We could have a lot worse quarterbacks than some Dak Prescott behind the center and not moving. And at the end of the day, he's got 2 NFC East titles in 3 seasons. He's a winning quarterback, and that's what you want as a quarterback. Is that not right? They don't pay you for them big numbers. They pay you for them wins, because them wins is going to get you closer to a Super Bowl. So that's what I'm going to back Dak with. He's a winner. He's not the prettiest quarterback. He still's got to learn. He's still got to get better. But I think when him getting John Kitna in the fold is really going to help him. I think that's going to be huge for him, because I think that's going to help Dak's mind. I also think having Kellen Moore, because I believe Kellen Moore is a young mind and will listen to Dak Prescott and give more freedom at Dak at the line. So I don't think Dak is going to regress. His worst season was the year before, and he still completed over 62% of his passes. You get what I'm saying? So it wasn't a terrible year. Yes, you need weapons if you're a quarterback. So continue to keep weapons around him, and we're going to be okay. We just got to worry about that coaching going forward.
Yeah, I felt like last year he really at times put the team on his back, on his shoulders, which is something we didn't really see much in year 1 and 2. It kind of felt more like the running game, offensive line carried us in the first couple years. But last year, I know the Giants game didn't mean a lot at the end, but still he put that game on his back, and he showed that
game was huge.
He can bring you back.
Yes.
By him, like without Zeke, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't need anybody. Like he can do it on his own. So I thought that was a big step forward for him in his career, and you got to feel excited about what's coming into this coming season. With him, he should definitely be at that next level now. We always talk about no more excuses. Well, there's no more excuses. I mean, I think.
But I don't think he deserves the excuse, because I think this was a year everybody was looking at him like he needed to step up. I mean, you said it yourself. You was like, I don't like Dak, blah, blah, blah.
Nah,
you can say he stepped up in your eyes.
I feel all right about him now, yeah.
Exactly, because you was like, wasn't feeling him. And if he stepped up in your eyes, then I think he stepped up in a lot of people's eyes. He's not a perfect quarterback. With this we know, folks. But he's a guy that's a winner, and he's a guy that I believe that can control our team. And he's a leader. And everybody, if you listen to the locker room, they love him. They love Dak Prescott. And that's at the end of the day. It's not about what us fans think, because we ain't the ones that making them decisions. It's them guys that are blocking for him. It's them guys that are playing for him. And them guys are the ones that are saying, hey, Dak is our guy. I'm going to go ahead and ride with them too.
Yes. Well, that does it for our grades. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And we'll tune back in next Sunday, as we'll have something else planned for you. But last week we did the defense. This week it was the offense. I thought everybody pretty much agreed with you in the comment section for the most part. So it sounds like everybody's on the same page. If you want to talk more about it, you can always inbox us. You can message the page. And don't forget, guys, before we get out of here, that you can subscribe to us now. Facebook just gave us that ability. You can support the page for $4.99 a month. You can get exclusive content. You can cancel this subscription at any time, so it's not like you're locked into anything.
Right.
And, what's $5 a month? It's not much. You know what I mean? So, I mean, to some people it's a lot, but, it's not overall. You're not going to miss $5 that much.
Yeah.
To see your favorite Cowboys podcast and more content, some behind-the-scenes type stuff.
We want to be your favorite.
Get that personable look with us. We appreciate any support you guys can give. We need it to keep going. We've been going strong for almost 2 years now.
Grinding.
And Facebook has come out with these new creative ways to try to help us continue to go. So we need support from you guys. If you have a top fan badge, you can turn it into a supporter badge. Even if you don't, you can still get that supporter badge. So jump on there. We'd appreciate that. You guys on YouTube as well. Make sure you subscribe to Facebook if you're not. And if you're not on YouTube, go there and subscribe to us as well. We're all over the place. Roku. We're also on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play. If you just want to listen to the audio portion of these shows,
we got pretty good voices.
So any support we can get from you guys, we appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in every week to all you loyal watchers who watch every single week.
Yes, we appreciate and we love you every single day. Every time we come on here, we love the support. We love seeing the regulars coming in, and we all, like you said, go tell your friends. If you're a Cowboys person, you love the Cowboys, and you want the real about the Cowboys, we ain't saying we perfect. We ain't saying we right on everything, but we're the voice. We give y'all a voice. You know what I'm saying? We a voice, you a voice. Hey, and we can agree to disagree, and we have a good time with it.
Tim said he's not paying $5 till you fix that shirt. I think he's talking about your neck coming down like that.
Oh, okay, that's all right. That's the new style, dog. See, when you, I'm a little bit older, and we did this back in the day. So you feel me? I'm not the new school. Okay.
There it is, Tim. It's a fashion thing. He doesn't have to fix it. That's the way it's supposed to be. Love it or hate it. We appreciate you guys for tuning in, leaving comments. I don't have anything else to say. Do you?
Yeah, I'm just going to give one little shout out about the Cowboys Experience, one of our big contributors and supporters. Like I said, Silver and Blue Nation will be broadcasting and hosting and working events and promotions with the Cowboys Experience, so make sure you check it out. We invite everyone in Silver and Blue Nation to like the Cowboys Experience now through March 1st, 2019. All Silver and Blue Nation fans will receive a $25 gift certificate to be redeemed on the Cowboys Experience weekend package to see the Cowboys play live in 2019. All likes will be entered in a drawing held on March 4th to win a Jalen Smith autographed mini helmet. So make sure you jump on that Cowboys Experience. It's kind of, we're in cahoots with them. Barry Griffith over there had showed us nothing but love when he was able to get out to the Cowboys game and have an experience like no other. And we got packages that we can get you right if you're trying to actually go to a game and get you a great deal. But make sure you go over to that Cowboys Experience, like the Cowboys Experience page, so you can enter in. Make sure you tell them that you're Silver and Blue Nation fans, that you came over there to like the page, so you can be entered in that drawing and get a autographed mini helmet from Jalen Smith. The swipe, clear eye view, baby. And that's it for me.
Yes. Appreciate you guys again. One final time for watching.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't really hear it. I was trying to play some Glory Hole. But either way, that's Big Game James.
And that's producer G Voltron. We love you, and we're going to talk to you soon.
We'll talk to you guys real soon.